Hello and welcome to STEM with Mr. N, where I perform different demonstrations and explain the science behind what we're seeing. This week I'm going to look at the power of plants as I explore soil erosion. Let's check it out. These days, a lot of people are talking about climate change and the impact this is having on the world round about us. As a result, a lot of us now reduce, reuse and recycle. But a problem that not a lot of people are aware of is soil erosion, and this is getting made worse by factors which are also impacting climate change, such as deforestation and the clearing away of natural areas. Soil erosion is when soil gets worn away by wind, water and other natural forces. But why is soil erosion such a big problem? Entire farmlands can get wiped out by soil erosion as the nutrient-rich topsoil gets washed away. This can also lead to the contamination of waterways with insecticides and fertilisers. Not only this, soil erosion can also be harmful to human lives and property in the form of mudslides and landslides. The experiment this week is going to explore the effect of runoff on soil erosion. Runoff is water that flows across the top of soil after a heavy downpour, and it occurs because the soil is too saturated or can't absorb any more water, so water just flows along the top and washes the soil away. For this activity you will require 2 small tinfoil tubs, 2 larger tinfoil tubs, some soil, some plastic forks, a pair of scissors and a watering can or a hose with a spraying function on the end that can simulate rain. The first thing I'm going to do is put one small tinfoil tub inside one of the bigger ones and put the other one inside the other big one. I'm then going to evenly fill my 2 small tinfoil tubs with soil. If you're doing this at home, you want to make sure that the surface you are working on is okay to get dirty and can be easily cleaned. Once the tubs are filled with soil, I'm going to take one of my plastic forks and stab the prongs down as far as they could go into one of the tubs of tinfoil. I'm then going to repeat this with 11 more forks in that same tub, evenly spacing the forks out throughout the tinfoil and making sure that all the prongs are curved in the same direction. The forks that I'm stabbing into the soil are going to represent plants, with the prongs of the forks representing the roots of the plants. Once that's done, I'm going to remove half of one of the short ends of the tub. To do this, I'm going to use my scissors to cut a line down in each of the corners at one of the ends, and then fold that short edge down to create a flap and use my scissors to cut that off. I'm then going to repeat this with the second tub. Now that my tubs are set up, I've taken them outside ready for testing. You want your testing area to be somewhere flat that it's okay for it to get wet and muddy. Now, I want this to be a fair test. That is something that's very important in science experiments, because if I test these tubs under 2 different sets of conditions, there's no point comparing the results because it wasn't a fair test. That is why I'm going to be testing one tub immediately after the first one, and I will not be turning the hose off in between to make sure they're getting the same amount of water on the same function sprayed on them. What I'm also going to do is spray the tub with the hose until the big tinfoil tub fills with water and starts to overflow, and that is when I'm going to take the water source away. I'm going to test the tub which only has the soil in it first. To do this, I'm going to prop the closed end of the tub up against the edge of the big tinfoil tub that it is in, point the water at it and wait for that big tinfoil tub to fill up. Now I'm going to set the hose to the side without turning it off and carefully slide that first big container out of the way and put in position this second container with the forks in it. I'm going to do the exact same thing with this, propping the closed end up against the edge of the container that it's in, point the hose back at it and wait for that big tinfoil container to fill with water, again observing what is happening as I do this. The final part of this outdoor test is to see how much soil got eroded from each of the two tubs. To do this, I'm going to carefully tip the first big tinfoil tub so that the water is in it starts to drain out over one of the corners. But I want to do this gradually because I want soil left inside the container. I don't want to flush it all out onto the ground. Now that I've tipped the majority of the water out, you'll be able to see there is a lot of soil inside this large container that got washed out of the smaller tub. You can even see a lot of the bottom of that smaller tinfoil tub where the soil has got washed away. Now I'm going to do the same with the second big tinfoil tub, again carefully tipping it on an edge to try and not wash all the soil out. And now that I've got the majority of the water out, you'll be able to see what soil is left inside this large container. Now if we look at both of the experiments side by side, you'll see the container which didn't have forks in it has had more soil wash out of it and get trapped in that large tinfoil tub compared to the container which did have the forks in it. So what was actually happening in this experiment? Well, when the water started pouring on top of the tubs with the soil in it, the soil was trying to absorb the water. However, it could not absorb the water fast enough, so pools of water started flowing down over the top of the soil, washing the soil out of the tub. In the tub that had the forks in it, the prongs of the fork were acting like the roots of trees and plants. The roots of trees and plants actually hold soil together, which you'll have noticed if you've ever seen a tree that has fallen over or pulled a plant out of the ground. There is a lot of soil clinging to the roots. The forks were acting like the roots in this experiment. Now the prongs of forks can't hold soil together as well as the roots of plants can. That was evident in the fact that still quite a bit of soil got washed out of that tub, and also the forks were getting knocked over. But the forks still stayed in the soil and still managed to trap more soil in that tub than the tub that did not have the forks. And this is what shows the power of plants. If we continue with deforestation and clearing away natural areas, we are getting rid of a natural defence barrier against soil erosion. And as I said at the start of the video, soil erosion can be a major problem, from clearing away farmlands to even killing humans and destroying property in landslides and mudslides. Another way that the plants and trees can help protect against soil erosion is they work as a wind barrier. It means that the wind does not blow as forcefully across a patch of ground with plants and trees on it. This is a great experiment to demonstrate this power of plants and its importance in soil erosion. Another way you could perform this experiment is to actually grow plants in one of the tubs ahead of time and test it with a tub which has plants in it and a tub which does not have plants in it. And that will show you more effectively the power of plants than using plastic forks. But it also means you need to take some time and patience to grow the plants before you can do the experiment. Well, that's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button to stay up to date on all future videos. As always, I would like to take this opportunity to answer any science questions you have about any science topics at all. So feel free to email me at stemwithmrn@outlook.com and I'll get back to you with answers to your questions. You can subscribe to the channel by pushing the button here, and I've added links here to the other STEM demos I've done so far, here to my STEM career interviews, and here to my robot review videos. This has been STEM with Mr. N, exploring soil erosion.